वेलकम तपाईहरू सबैलाई नेपालमा स्वागत छ।
This is Nepal, land of mountains, land of worship, a nation still history. A Buddhist monk worships his beloved mountains, prays to his gods, and thanks them for this beauty. This is Nepal, land of festivals and gaiety. The ceremony honors Lord Krishna, one of the deities of the Hindu-Buddhist pantheon of worship. The Nepalese culture can be characterized by numerous festivals and holidays throughout the year. Once a year in the capital city of Kathmandu, a larger and more important festival is observed, Gaiety, the festival of cows. It is at this time that families who during the past year have lost their loved ones honor and observe this event. The cow as a symbol is worshipped in Nepal as in India, her neighbor to the south. During this time, music is an important part of the activity. A gold-laden gate leads to a temple, an integral part of all religious festivals. In rural areas, festivals are observed in less sophisticated ways. At the close of each harvest, bamboo swings and Ferris wheels are erected, and children and grown-ups swing until the straw rope becomes frayed. The older folks join in a whirl around the Ferris wheel. And kites fly too. In Nepal, festivals suggest gaiety, music, and the laughter of children. Close to 10 million people live in Nepal. Farming is the chief source of livelihood. The growing season is the lower valleys year-round. Terraced farming helps to make use of most of the land available for cultivation. Rice is the chief crop. In pastoral settings, we inevitably find the temple, beautiful in its pagoda style. This is Ganesh Temple at Chobar, where mythology has it that Manjushri cut through the rim of the Kathmandu Valley with his mighty sword to drain the great lake that once covered the valley. Women often work in the fields. Preparing grain after the harvest is typical of the relatively primitive way of doing things. Food and everything else must be transported by porter from village to village. transported over trails on the backs of men and women whose only life has been as carriers of baskets, loaded with provisions, straps pressing into their foreheads. There are almost no roads in Nepal, and until a few years ago, no airport. The porter is one of the most ordinary sights in this land. The sick person living in remote villages must often be transported on the back of his fellow man to get needed medical attention. Daily, the pops in mid-morning to cook their first meal of the day. There is an almost festive air as the porters congregate at the stream to eat and exchange news of the trail and of Kathmandu, a distant center of trade and commerce. The trail is dotted with villages where one drops part of his burden and picks up more, often spending the night there if dusk is approaching. The Nepalese provide many of their essential needs. In the village we find the weaver at work using hand-spun yarn from the yak, the main domestic animal in the mountainous areas. Yarn colors are derived from native sources. Every village has its tea house, where one rests with a cup of tea, sometimes enriched with rancid butter. The traveler may also quench his thirst with a somewhat more fortifying chong, made from fermented rice. The village is the center of Nepalese life. Many farmers live here and walk to their farms each morning. Merchants operate small shops and supply the needs of the area. The Nepalese are devoutly religious. The temple is an auspicious place for any activity, especially a school. Here, a University of Oregon professor and his Nepalese host visit a school established by the joint efforts of the Americans and the Nepalese. In Nepal, more than anywhere else in the world, Buddhism and Hinduism have come together in peaceful harmony, and worship is an integral part of everyday life. Each family clan has its own priest. The education of children is strongly influenced by religious tradition. Nepal is a nation with virtually untapped water power. Under the rule of the Ranas, Nepal fell a century behind the rest of the world in social, political, and educational developments. Nepal is a nation whose farmers are operating with medieval methods. A nation whose villagers have known little about health. A nation where it has been as difficult to transport food as ideas from one part of the country to another. A nation, in short, that required a massive improvement in its education. The United States Operation Mission for Nepal arrived in 1952 to help improve health and sanitation. This led to the recognition of a need for a nationwide education program. In 1953, University of Oregon staff members were brought to Nepal by the United States Operations Mission to provide technical assistance in education. These historic scenes are of the National Educational Planning Commission, meeting in 1953 and 1954, made up of Nepalese from all stations in life, from all castes, meeting together to study the educational needs of their country and recommend ways of meeting those needs. The royal meeting was held at the Royal Audience Hall in Kathmandu. The study and recommendations were compiled into a book which lists 4 basic goals: to develop universal free primary education, adult literacy, a national university system, and secondary and vocational education. Prior to 1950, there were almost no formal organized education. Less than 2% of the people were literate. Few persons had ever attended school. The goals of the National Education Planning Commission called for trained teachers, lots of them. In a country where professional training was unknown, the establishment of a teacher training program became imperative. This was the chief assignment of the University of Oregon Task Force. Distance in Nepal is measured not in miles, but by days of travel on the trail. The capital is 10 to 30 days distant from many parts of the country. Hence, it was necessary to take teacher training to the people in the hinterlands by mobile normal school teams. After a year's program of training in selected areas, the teams moved to new areas to repeat their programs. Thus, the teachers could be trained within a few days' distance from their homes. Oregon technicians often accompanied the teams to help them establish their mobile normal schools. The traveler often got his feet wet, actually as well as figuratively, as trails crossed streams. On arriving at a new mobile normal school headquarters, the team leader makes a courtesy call on the district governor. A brief visit of the existing educational facilities is made to acquaint the teachers with the mobile normal school and to invite them to participate in special courses for the in-service improvement of teaching. Although the mobile normal schools were designed primarily for the training of new primary school teachers, they were also concerned with improving the quality of teaching at all levels. The normal school is established in a rented building. Oregon technicians with their Nepalese counterparts also made frequent visits to the mobile training centers. At the close of the normal school training period, convocations were held and the young teachers were awarded diplomas. A convocation is held at the normal school for central Nepal in Kathmandu. Normal schools in the remote areas did not enjoy such favored surroundings. To backstop educational development in Nepal, a college of education was needed to train normal school instructors, secondary school teachers, school administrators, and other educational leaders. The College of Education was opened in 1956 following intensive training of its staff at the University of Oregon the previous year. The library is the heart of the college. Many books were donated by individual faculty members of the University of Oregon. Others were purchased with Nepalese and American funds. Frequent staff meetings are held to plan college curriculum, the mobile normal school program, educational research, and other related activities. Part of the professional curriculum consists of training in vocational skills. Agriculture and homemaking are an important part of the primary school program, since 95% of the Nepalese are engaged in farming. Wives of the American technicians often volunteer to teach classes at the college, especially in English, which is a major foreign language for Nepal. Since music and the arts are of such importance in the Nepalese culture, primary school teachers receive training in these activities. An integral part of the College of Education is the demonstration school, where modern teaching practices may be observed by young teachers in training. Traditionally, Nepalese children have always walked to school, but now a modern new school bus brings the children to school from all parts of the city. It is also used for field trips by college students in the College of Education. The geography and history of their native land is an important part of the curriculum for the Nepalese child. This is in addition to the basic communication skills and learning about life, food, clothing, and shelter. In a land where disease is common and medical facilities limited, much attention is given to physical education. In addition to these health activities, children and college students get free physical examinations and hot meals at noon. One of the major activities of the college is the Bureau of Publications, which prepares textbooks and other instructional materials for primary schools and the teacher training institutions. A modern press and other printing equipment produces materials for distribution to schools throughout the land. The first commencement of the College of Education in 1958 was a landmark in educational history in Nepal. Only one student received a diploma, but this was the first ever to be granted in Nepal by an institution independent of an Indian university. The several speakers lauded the achievements in teacher education in the short span of 4 years, the establishment of a college of education enrolling 200 students, the establishment of 10 mobile normal school teams that had trained more than 1,000 primary school teachers, reorganization of curriculum, production of textbooks, training of 30 college teachers in America, and other activities. The audience included distinguished representatives of the royal family, the Nepalese government, and the embassies of India, Great Britain, United States, and other participants in foreign aid programs. The College of Education also assisted in the development of an adult literacy program. Techniques of teaching adults is part of the teacher training program. Here adults learn to read in an open-air classroom. At the request of the Nepal government, the Oregon team added an architect to design a campus plan and individual buildings for a new national university. Dedication of this site in 1958 was the occasion for the gathering of officials and students from many schools in Nepal. The proceedings included the setting of a plaque and cornerstone by the Queen Mothers. The model of the university shows that provisions have been made for administration, library, student union, general classroom, engineering, education, home science, agriculture, demonstration schools, university press, student dormitories, medical school, amphitheater, and space for faculty housing. There are several regional colleges in Nepal, all of which will eventually be affiliated to the National University. Technicians visit one of these regional institutions in Virotnagar, where it is now housed in the high school building. A new modern building is being erected, which will provide for increasing enrollments. Many school buildings can be built of bamboo and thatch because of the warm climate and need no doors or windows. Farther north in the hills, school buildings must be made of brick. Physical education is stressed at the secondary level also. In favorable weather, classes are frequently held outdoors. One reason the University of Oregon was involved in Nepal was because it has the facilities to provide additional training on its own campus. And so in 1955, 8 Nepalese students enrolled in Eugene at the university. Later, 35 more college teachers from Nepal came for specialized training. Nepalese students enrolled in regular classes and participated in other campus activities with their American friends. In the School of Education, visitations to typical American classrooms became a regular part of their training. The head of the Bureau of Publications took special training in journalism. This included practical work at the local newspaper office. Several students have gone on to finish their doctorates at the University of Oregon and Oregon State University in clinical psychology, physics, economics, plant pathology, and education. The opportunity of working in the university business office afforded this student a chance to learn business procedures, which will later be of value to him when he returns to Nepal. All of the Nepalese students who came to Oregon were awarded master's or doctorate degrees or special certificates. The president of the University of Oregon paid tribute to these Nepalese students. Back in Nepal, 12,000 miles from Oregon, these students will once again live and work in a nation of villages, mountains, trails, untapped water power. A nation working to improve itself, raise the standard of its people, improve its health and sanitation, increase its literacy rate, provide schools, teachers, and education for everyone. In the shadow of Annapurna and the other rarely climbed spectacular peaks of the Himalayas, Nepal and the University of Oregon worked together, learned much from each other, and found a way to begin a long climb into the 20th century.